Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out the video. Today, I'm going to talk about the crypto markets, what is going on, and what I see as happening. So crypto, as we know, is following the major markets, the major stock markets. This is what I have for the S&P 500. Some of you guys who know me know that I like to day trade this market. It's my favorite market to day trade. But this is kind of what I'm seeing. This is a lot of gobbledygook. And even though this looks like it can support and go a little higher, I'm still looking at whatever happens for this to come back down eventually. And that's what we're seeing in the overall crypto markets. So if we go back down to the total market cap, and I have to fix this chart again, and you can see over here in 2019, this was in December of 2018 over here. This is July of 2019, and this comes into the start of 2020. And then we got this large pop into May of 2021. Got a little drop here, summer of 2021, moved back up into November of 2021, and now it's just dropping. While, the stock market here in the US is actually moving up a little bit. Even though it's doing it in a very haphazard way, it's still doing so. I was on I go on Twitter Spaces sometimes, and I usually end up leaving just because a lot of people are just, windbags. They think they know what's going on with the economy. They talk about, all this fundamental stuff, which doesn't really matter. And, it is what it is. I've talked about why this is happening because central governments around the world for the past decade and so have had creative monetary policies. Whenever you get creative, a lot of times bad things happen. A la financial crisis. You probably remember all those loans that were made and inflated. All of the mortgages were put into different mortgage-backed bonds and leveraged up, and just, bad things happened from there. The wrong kind of leverage, which is the majority of leverage, is bad. And that's what you saw. Well, the creative monetary policies, what did they have? Leverage. And now we're seeing the repercussions of that. And, when I say the creative monetary policies, the majority of governments out there were doing that. Not just a couple, like one or two. A lot of them were. And that's what we're seeing right now. And it's going to continue. One thing with countries, they don't change quickly. It takes them a while to change. So that is why I believe we're in this mess. And that's why we're going to continue to be in this mess. And then we have people in charge, and they're not doing what they should be doing to get back on track. And it's going to, be a lot more chaotic than it should be. So that's where we're at. So with the total market cap, if it was going to get some support, it would have been right here. It did support, but then you got a lot of rejection right here, and just, price just dropped from here. So what can we see from here? There's a couple different things we can see, but because of this mess over here, and I can zoom in, because of all of this, it looks like, it can easily go a little bit lower. So it's looking very ugly. And that's why I took all these numbers off the chart. It is looking ugly. It's looking like it can come a little lower. I'm going to wait and see what happens. But let's get into the cryptos and talk about them a little bit more deeply. So let's go to Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin I'm watching, and it does look more like this is a two-wave. It does look more like that. And I've said this before, if you get 10 Elliotticians in a room, give them all the same chart, you're going to have 10 different answers. Why is that? Because they all look at things a little bit differently. And what I do, I use Elliott Wave as my primary analysis. I can, have these different areas that I'm looking at, but then I use a couple other things to give me an edge, and that is how I make trades. I place them in the Discord if you're curious, check it out. If not, that's fine too. But this is what I'm seeing. WX, Y, X, and the Z I don't think has happened yet. So this is just a crazy correction. It is possible that this move is the same, and then we're going to get a move up followed by another move down. That could be a thing. It doesn't really matter. What matters is where the probabilities are with the move. So let's jump down to an hourly chart and we can look at it a little bit more deeply. So let me zoom in here. Pull this chart up. Okay, so this is where we're at. So price was over here. Watching this level right here is very, very important. 19,280 and 90 cents. You could call it 19,281 if you wanted to have an even number. But, that's where if price took that out, you could start to say, all right, well, maybe we could have a little bit of a longer term up to. And when I say longer term, I mean, over a week of up movement. So over a week of up movement, if it would have gotten over this. It didn't. It rejected here and it's pushing down and it's looking bad. Well, what is this? Well, this move down needs to have a partner. So I'm thinking this move down right now can come up a little bit. If it were to do that, anywhere between that 17,200, 17,600, anywhere in there, should theoretically find rejection and move it down again, because this move down needs to get another move down. So if this moves up here, then it can come down again. I would have thought that it would have moved off of this level, but coming back down is a little bit more weak. And that's what I was talking about, how it looked so weak. That's why I wanted to show those charts in the beginning, so you can see that it is kind of weak. So if this does move up here, that would be interesting. And let's look at this here. If it didn't move up, so let's say it comes down and takes out this low right here. What am I looking for? Well, it needs, if it is going to drop from here, it depends on how weak it is going to be. So anywhere between 16,000 and 15,435 would be that level that it could support, and that's assuming it's going to get a lot weaker. So that's what that assumption is. If it takes out 14,953, so let's say it breaks this low and just keeps going, and it breaks this, then it can actually start to get very weak, and we could see, it's something I wasn't really anticipating, but we could see something into that 13,000 area. That is what I would look for. So this has moved down. This is kind of weak sideways action. If it were to take out this low, that's what I would look for. So one of those two scenarios is going to happen if it takes out that low. So what I'm looking at here is, if we look at these areas right now, this 17,581, that's going to be an interesting level. If price does move up, it gets above that and then starts pushing, that would be interesting. That's not what my primary outlook is. My primary outlook would be it coming up here, finding that rejection, and then coming down again around that 16,000 to 15,600, anywhere in there. So that's my primary outlook. If it's going to get weak, those are the levels to watch for. If it's going to actually get strong, then that's the level you want to see break, 17,581. So that's what I'm looking at with Bitcoin right now. I don't really see a lot as far as like making a trade. and my nephews are actually coming later tonight, so I'm not going to be making a trade. I'll probably start making trades again in January. Family is very important. I think it's very, very important, and getting to spend time with your family is great, but getting back to trading in the new year is what I'm going to do. But I wanted to get this video out just to kind of give my view of the markets. I've been getting a lot of questions about that, so I'm not trying to say I'm the best chart analyst in the world, but I'm good at what I do. So you got to take it for what it is, but it does seem to help out some of you guys, so I do appreciate the kind comments. Hope everybody had a great Merry Christmas, and definitely a Happy New Year if I don't talk to you before then. So I do appreciate that. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin, is one of those two scenarios to happen. I don't really see a lot of high probability to really place a trade here, but that's what I'm watching. If it gets strong or weak, where I'm watching, and if it is going to just be sideways and ugly, you know what that's going to entail. It's going to stay above this low, and it's going to stay below this area here and just keep going sideways. And it can do that for a little bit, but I do expect one of those two scenarios, long or short, to happen, and my money's on the short side. So I'm not in a trade, but just saying that's what I'm thinking. So that's my 3.14 cents, I guess. So let's go to Ethereum now. And Ethereum is looking interesting. On the daily, it looks like it, getting a bounce here and coming up could be a thing. If it's going to do something different, let's jump to the hourly and look. Because right now it is holding resistance. So if it is going to take off to the downside, we just want to be aware of what that actually means. Let's see. Why is it not zooming in anymore? Okay, that's fine. So right now, this is kind of the level to watch, is 1449. And then this level, this entire zone right here, 1344 and 1360. That's the zone to kind of watch. You saw price come up here, find that rejection, come back down, but it's kind of doing the same thing as Bitcoin. It tried to bounce here, now it's coming down again. So I'm kind of watching the same thing as Bitcoin then. So if I draw up this scenario, watching that 1275 level, it's looking very ugly. And whatever it does is going to be ugly. However, saying that, holding above this low, ideally, it can break it and still support. But if it's going to support, it needs to push up, break 1275, and then break 1300. Those are the two levels that I really would want to see break. And then 1354, I'm going to call it 1354. If it breaks 1354, it should easily break 1360. So I'm not really concerned that granularly. But that's what I would be looking for. If it's going to come up, it should be able to, if it is going to be that strong, it should be able to take out that 1450. And that would send the S&P up to that level that I'm thinking it's going to go to. However, they have decoupled at the moment. So, we'll have to wait and see. But so far, they have decoupled, and we're just going to have to see what actually does transpire. If this is going to be weak, then it depends on where price does go to. That 1040 level is going to be big. So if this does come up a little bit from here and then reject, that would be interesting. If it rejects from here, that would be a little unexpected for me, but it could happen. So if it does break down from here, you want to see if it's going to be very weak, that 1040 level should break. and we could see 900s, 800s, somewhere in there. If it's going to find that support, come up, then it could move sideways for a little bit longer. So it really just depends on what is able to happen. So the markets are a little weird right now, not really doing too much, but it's also pretty darn weak. If I go to Cardano is showing that weakness. So Cardano had a nice move down here. You basically had that ABC pattern, like an Elliott wave. It's just a corrective move, and then you're having further downside. And this is kind of strong, actually. This is pretty strong action to the downside. It it broke that 25-cent level. It bounced here, bounced here, bounced here off that 25 cents. Now it's breaking it, and it's breaking it pretty strongly. It's pushing down. When it went down to 24.40, right now it's at 24.58. So it's really starting to show some weakness. The longer it stays under that 25 level, the better it would look on the downside. And if I go out here to the daily chart, let me fix this a little bit. And so what I'm thinking is, if it's going to support and get over 25 cents, I would expect it to come up, maybe 36, 40 cents, somewhere in there, and then have another move down. That could be the end of the temporary end of the down move. If that would occur, then I would be looking for, a move up, but then, maybe another move down afterwards. So we'll have to wait and see what that does look like. The longer it stays under 25 cents, the more likely it is to stay under 25 cents, push that 23-cent level, and, maybe even flirt with 20 to 18 cents, somewhere in that zone. So I'm keeping an eye on that 23-cent level right now, and then 19 cents. So 19 to 23 cents is kind of that zone that I'm watching. 23 cents obviously is that first area, and then 19 cents after that. So we're definitely seeing some weakness. If it does come back up, you want to keep an eye on 28 to 30 cents. Of course, that 25-cent level is the main level that I'm watching. But if it comes up 28 to 30 cents, and if it gets over that zone, then I want to see what is going to happen and how that's going to play out. But right now, I think ADA's in no man's land. It's not something I'm trying to trade at all, but it's very interesting. So now let's go to Matic. And Matic is ugly. It is not doing anything. You had this corrective move up followed by this impulsive move here. A bunch of chop followed by a chop up followed by a chop down. And not really seeing too much. I had this box drawn looking for support. It never got to it. It's trying to stay above this 77-cent level. It's not anything I want to trade, but because it keeps hitting it and the bouncers are becoming a little bit weaker, it's looking like it can break. So 77 to 75.5 cents, if those two levels break, then keep an eye on this box, but don't hold your breath on it. So that's kind of what I'm watching. Once that does happen, I'll look at the charts again and see what's going on. But right now, that's kind of my analysis. I just don't really see a lot happening. Next, let's go to Solana. And Solana is one that I've been talking about. If, I was talking over here at that 22 cents? $22. So I was talking about this over here for a long time. It finally broke, and I was saying 20. If it breaks 22, it's going under $10. It is under $10, and it's starting to push a little bit lower. I'm not really a fan of Solana, but you know, if it goes so low, which would be a little bit lower in my opinion, you know, picking up some just in case, because you know there's a lot of VC money behind this, and they're going to try to pump this in the next bull market, and getting in around $3 would be a great deal, I think. You know, do what you do. I think that would be good, $3 to $5. Is that likely to happen? I don't really know. I don't really know, but I think 550 to 350 is a good area. So that's kind of what I'm watching. You know, other than being short, I wouldn't really touch Solana right now. And you know, if it's going to get super weak, there's not a lot of downside left. It's at 974 right now. So I'm just going to watch it and see what it does. Maybe scoop some up if it goes lower from here. Now let's go to Binance. Binance, I do enjoy Binance, but it's looking super ugly. However, it does look like it wants to bounce. So 217, anywhere above that can bounce. However, looking at the rest of the crypto, I don't really want to be in this as a long. It does look like it can bounce. It really depends on what it's going to do over here. So what I would do is keep an eye on this low. This low is at 224.70. That can't be true. Let me zoom out a little bit. 220 even. Okay, so this low's at 220 even. So what I would do, if I wanted to be long this, I would try to get long around 232, 230 even. Stop would be at 220 even. And I would look to take profit here or maybe above. So that's what I would look for. So you're going for like a 265 reward, a 220 stop, and a long at 230 to 232. That's what I would look for. Now, if this were to move up over 250, 255, if that were to occur with no pullback, I would not place the trade anymore. But that trade actually does look pretty decent for Binance coin right now. You know, I have to wait and see, but that's looking pretty decent. Now let's go to XRP. XRP looks downright hideous right now. It's just not really doing much. You know, you had this bounce here. You know, a lot of people were, not a lot of people, but some people were trying to say it was going to go to $1. That didn't happen. I was not one of those people. I was, you know, thinking it was not going to do that. But I kind of thought it was going to break these lows, and that's not happened. So, you know, I was really looking for this low to break. Because it has not broken, it means one of two things. So either it supports here, and if it does support, it can come up here. Anywhere between 50 cents to 65 cents, somewhere in there. And that would be a hold of this low right here. So as long as it holds this low, it is possible that this happens. Now, if this low snaps, it can get weak. So you can see a lot of weakness come in if this low snaps. So that's kind of what I would look for with XRP. It's going to be an interesting next couple days and the rest of the week. So I am kind of interested to see what happens. Looking at the total market cap again, it just looks super weak. It looks terrible. However, this move here, I mean, the only thing you can say is it's corrective. You know, that's the only thing I can see. the only other option would be, this move up, beget this move up, and that could be the end of something. And then this move down was very sharp, and it could see a partner leg from there. So that's the only way I can look at it and say it can get very weak. But other than that, kind of have to wait and see. Right now, it just looks very ugly. So I'm not placing a lot of trades right now. Like I said, I don't have any trades right now. And I'm not planning on making any trades until January. So that's where I'm at personally. But I just wanted to look at the markets, give you guys a little bit of insight of what I'm seeing. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, hit the like button and let me know in the comments if you liked a certain thing, or you want me to look at other stuff a little differently. If you want me to include other markets, I can do all of that. I was thinking about doing a separate S&P 500 video, and then having a crypto video, and then maybe like a foreign exchange video. So let me know if you think that's a good idea or a bad idea, because I've been debating that. And of course, I share trades on the Discord. So if you guys are traders and you want to share, you can always join that and talk to other traders, and we can have a chat and share on that. So thanks everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you around the crypto markets. Take care.